Amen, everybody. To God be the glory. It's a beautiful night, peaceful night, a great night to give my testimony, but I'm not going to give all my testimony because I plan on giving my testimony in church. And plus, God said my testimony not over. So I can share a little bit. And what I'm choosing to share is my foothold with marijuana and how that came about. And so I was 17 years old. I was a hooper, played basketball, I was a letterman, I had letters. But I wanted to go to the University of Texas. I wanted to go to UT. And going into my senior year, I did not have that offer. And so that was a goal of mine. I made it a point to put the work in the summer. And I said, well, the season started that year, and I was going to kill. Like, I got to get mine. And so right before the school year started, my grandmother had knee surgery. A woman that I love, like a second mother, cherished her, did everything in me. And she has knee surgery. Knee surgery is a success. I went up there to go see her with my stepmother at the time, and she had just lost her son. My stepbrother Gerard, he had died due to a failed liver transplant, and so he had died maybe like 2 months prior, or 3. He died in May, and so about 3 months prior, so it's still fresh for her to be in hospitals and stuff like that. So she just did not want to do that, and so she asked me if I could be quick, and because she just didn't want to be around there. And so I said, okay. So I'm there to see my grandmother. We called her Sugar. So I'm looking for Sugar. And I guess we was on the other side of the hospital because I couldn't find a room. And I was rushing too because, I was with my stepmother and she didn't want to be there long. And just the look that she had on her face, I understood that she was really uncomfortable. So I made it a point to be fast, and so I couldn't find my grandmother's room. Called my grandmother and told her, Sugar, I came to see you, but I couldn't find your room, and I'm with Miss Yvonne, and she's just not ready to be in the hospital right now, so I'm gonna have to come see you next week at your house. And she said, cool. It's okay, baby. I'll see you next weekend. I love you. So I love you too. That last thing my grandmother ever said to me in life. And you just never know what God is doing. God is so intentional. That conversation was so intentional. That was her telling me, see you later, I love you. And she said goodbye to me without me even knowing. And so the next weekend came, and my grandmother dies. She dies from a blood clot from the surgery that she had received. And I lose it. I love my grandmother, but it's not just me. Like, she was a pillar in our family. So everybody was messed up. And a piece of me died with my grandmother that day. And so now the school year is about to start. So I'm going into the school year. Not myself. A piece of me is gone for my grandmother. I'm not as motivated about nothing. Basketball, anything. I'm still in the days about my grandmother not being on this earth no more. I can't talk to my grandma no more. That really hurt me. And so the whole week I was, I would communicate with people, but I just wasn't myself. My close friends, they seen that. They noticed that about me. And so that Friday, A guy that I grew up with, his name is CJ. He called me and was like, "Hey man, we worried about you. You lost your grandma, man. Come hang with us, man. Just have a good time, and we keep our eye on you. Just like okay." Because I'm not watching TV. Like, I'm depressed about my grandma. I miss my grandmother, man. I love my grandma. If you really love somebody, you see them on that bed, lifeless, it do something to you, man. And so I'll never forget that. But anyway, so I was like, okay. So they come to pick me up that Friday. All the way up until this point, I'm drug-free. I'm an athlete. God has paved my way. I know I'm gonna play basketball somewhere. And so we at CJ house, like 12 something in the morning. I'm in the back seat. It's my boy CJ and my best friend Joseph. He in the passenger seat, Hispanic guy. To this day, my best friend, man. I love that boy. And I'm in the back seat and I'm leaning up against the window, leaning up against the door, looking through the window, looking in the sky. Thinking about my grandma, and CJ say, "I know you hurting. Finna roll you a blunt." And I was like, up until that point, I always thought smoking was stupid. Tell you to give you cancer, like it ain't good for you. You look dumb, you look retarded after you get high. Like, so for me, no, I'm not doing that. But in this idle point in my life, in this vulnerable time in my life, I just thought for a second, cause my brother smoked and all that, my cousins and all that, this might be what I need because I'm hurting. And I know, if I don't know anything else about weed, I know weed is gonna calm you down. It's gonna calm the nerves. It's gonna relax you. So I'm like, you know what? All right, go ahead, roll me a blunt. So he rolled a blunt. I smoked his blunt. Think nothing of it. About 10 years passed. And my best friend Joseph that I told you about, he went into the military. He did his time. He came home. And he was having a retirement party from the military. Or a housewarming party or something like that. It's a little bit of both. So, I'm excited to see my boy. I ain't seen him in like 10 years. So, as soon as I walk through the door, the first thing that Joseph says to me is, "What's up, crackhead?" So I'm looking around like, man, who you calling crackhead? He said, "You remember you smoked that crack, that blunt CJ rolled? It had crack in it." I'm like, what? And then I thought about it. When CJ was handing me that blunt, Joseph indeed told me, "Do not smoke that blunt." And this is why I love God. That's why I love God so much. He gave me a choice. God's presence was there. And he told me, "Do not smoke this blunt." He put crack in it. And I'm like, why would CJ put crack in it? And then we 17, we in high school. I ain't never seen CJ hustling or anything like that. CJ used to steal. He's the dude you gotta watch because he'll steal. But as far as selling crack, stuff like that, I ain't believe it. No, not CJ. And then I grew up with CJ, I known CJ since I was in the 5th grade. I used to go to his mama's house all the time. And we would walk to school together. Like, his mom treated me like a son. So I'm thinking, why would CJ, somebody that I grew up with, put crack in my blunt? But just for that moment, that wasn't CJ. The enemy had jumped in CJ. That's my boy. That's my dog. That was my dog. We ain't had no beef. Why would you put crack in my weed? You trying to ruin me. You know, God showed me later that wasn't CJ. But the point I was trying to make is God jumped in Joseph and said, don't smoke this blunt. He put crack in it. I ain't believe him. So God gave me that opportunity. He warned me. He warned me. But I ain't believe it. I did not believe it. So once Joseph refreshed my memory and he brings it to my attention, now I want vengeance. Like CJ. Bruh, what? I call CJ. Hey, I tried to play it out, but I said it too soon. I was like, say, man, Joseph said you put crack in my blunt back in the day. And you know, he gave a little sarcastic little chuckle and was like, nah, man, I wouldn't do that. So I was like, okay. Well, let's meet up. Because my mind was made up. Say, man, I'm gonna have to handle you because you try to ruin me. And I always wonder why all of a sudden I just stopped caring about basketball. My drive was gone. All I was worried about was smoking weed and females. But mostly I needed some weed to smoke all day long. And the more I thought about that, the more enraged I got. But I thank God that I didn't meet up with CJ, because I might not be here today. And it be them slight moments, it be your most vulnerable moment where the enemy will try and capitalize. That's why, especially in your vulnerable moments, be in the presence of the Lord. Always let God lead you. All he needed, that was my first time ever smoking a blunt. And he hooked me, put the hook in me. It detoured my life. It's hard to hear God when you high. And that's all I did was smoke. Smoke. But the enemy, he couldn't stop, was ordained by God. He delayed it, but he couldn't stop it. I thank God for my upbringing and my father, who was a pastor. His tough love, praying that word over me, making me read the word as a kid, even though I don't remember nothing. But putting me in the presence of the Lord and establishing that foundation in me is what carried me up until this point. And, you know, once I realized that and God showed me that the devil was just trying to prevent me from walking in my purpose with him, I no longer wanted vengeance on CJ, because it was a spiritual warfare. Now all I want to obtain is God's glory. It's his salvation. And let me tell you, this walk is a hard walk. I fall all the time. I keep falling. But the thing about God is so merciful, loving, and he's forgiving. Now we can't just depend on that. We got to really put that work in. But our God is so loving. He's forgiving, merciful, understanding. And it's his mercy that has me so humble today. And, you know, there's certain things that I just haven't fully conquered in my life. I keep on slipping certain areas. But it's okay. God is patient with me. He has his hands on me. And when you walk with God, he opens up or establishes gifts or reveals gifts that you never thought you even had. Like, all of a sudden now I want to sing. And so I'll say this. About 4 years ago, I went to a karaoke bar. I've been going to this karaoke bar all the time. And to pick up women. It wasn't the same. And so I was a regular there. And on this particular time, this particular day, was different. Ain't nobody ever asked me, am I going to sing? But on this day, like 5 people asked me, are you going to sing? And I'm looking like, I can't sing. I said, I can't sing. And it's like the Spirit of God was jumping at people. As soon as I say, no, I can't sing. This woman asked me that. I told her, no, I can't sing. It's like instantly God jumped out of her. She looked away, started to continue talking to her friend. Like, she ain't had no interest in me. And so I'm at the bar. I'm waiting on my drinks and sitting there just waiting on my drinks. Like 3 people asked me that. Then when I went to sit down, 2 more people asked me that. Then the last time I said, I can't sing, to the person that asked me that. And I heard God say, yes, you can. And I said, no, I can't. But when you hear God's voice, it's unmistaken. And that resonated in my heart. So I went home, tried to sing, and still sound like a cat getting slaughtered, So I really didn't understand why God said that. But now this urge for singing is growing. And this started 4 years ago. And it kind of died down just because of the things that life had put before me. But I don't know. Getting back before the Lord truly walking this walk and facing all my demons. And boy, I got a lot of demons. I get attacked all the time. I've only been walking with God for about 7 months. Truly 7 months. And it's been a heck of a ride. And I give God all the glory because I'm no longer a whore. Like this time last year, you wouldn't believe how many women I slept with. How many times I had sex. This year, since I came to grace, I've only been intimate 1 time. And I know I'm changing because I was so ashamed when I did it. I was mad at myself. I can't believe I gave in. And when you walking with God, you really can feel this spiritual exchange doing intercourse. So I was ashamed of that, but I'm getting off course here. The moral of the story is trust in God. We all have purpose in God. And the enemy won't stop at anything to stop you from achieving that. You got to keep that armor on at all times. Not just a little bit, all times. We must get our daily bread every day. And for the longest of time, I've been living on spoiled bread. I got that from Brother Dre. He made that point and said, for the longest of time, been living on spoiled bread. And that hit home with me. I had been living on spoiled bread, living off the fact that my daddy was a pastor, but that had nothing to do with me and my individual walk with God and my growth or my intimacy with God. Like, it ain't got nothing to do with that. But I was saying that like almost like a covering of a shield. And no, We got to really put that work in, ladies and gentlemen, and stay before God all day, because you just don't know when the enemy is lurking and waiting for your vulnerable moment to establish a foothold on you. That weed foothold was on me for like 20 years, literally 20 years smoking. I couldn't shake it. But just walking in a church house changed my life. Projection of my life. Yeah, I slip, I fall, I mess up, I make mistakes, I say things I don't mean, but it's okay. I don't beat myself up no more like I used to. I take it to God. My God's a loving God. And I thank him for everything and all things that he does for me. I'm content with his decision making and where he's taking my life. Thank you, God. I could talk all day about this, man, but I'm gonna say this and then I'm done. God is so intentional. There's a man named Ken, Brother Ken. Every time I pray about this man, I break down because I see how God used him in my life. They go that intentional word again, how intentional God is. It had to be Ken. I had to go through this, take this loss in order to get over here to meet Ken. And the reason why I got this job was because of a coworker that I used to work with who no longer works here. Like he was probably there for like 4 or 5 months and he left. God just needed to get me here to this job site. And it started about 4 or 5 years ago when I first met this other guy. Establishing relationships. God say, okay, this is the work I'm making. 5 years later, watch what I do. So it started with meeting him to get here. Then I met Ken. Enemy is all over me. Enemy knew what Ken was. I didn't. I just seen the authority spirit that Ken had. And me personally, I had a problem with authority. You ain't gonna tell me what to do. So the enemy was putting that on my head, so for me to go against Ken. And I tried Ken a couple times just to see what he would do. And he would bite. Then he would get quiet. Then he would drive off on his cart. And he would avoid me all day. But then I started realizing, wait a minute, this is a cool brother. This brother loved God. And the tide changed. And Brother Ken has seen me at my lowest of lows. He's seen my spirit. He's seen the life that I was living was of no substance. And man, Ken is a little man, but the loudest talking dude I probably ever heard in my life. You can hear this dude all over the complex, man. But when he was talking to me about God, his voice was so soft. And the first time he asked me, man, I think you need to come to church, I wasn't ready. But boy, I'd be lying if, you know what I'm saying, that didn't resonate in my spirit and my soul. He planted that seed just by asking me that. And throughout the year, he continued to ask, man, I think you really should come to church, man. I think you would like it. And it took a brother like him, somebody that God knew that I would bring my guard down. Somebody that God knew this man possessed. He walked a similar path as me. We connected on another level. So it took Ken to get me to the church. Because I had reached a point where I was tired. My life had no substance. You just smoking and having intercourse with these women all the time. Why? I started becoming empty and I needed more. And, you know, from my experience with God, He always give me a year. I pray for something, I really pray for it, God will give me a whole year. And if I don't do what I say I'm gonna do, He strip me back down, bring me back down to my knees, take everything from me. And He was doing that because once again, I'm at this property, own place, fully furnished. I ain't buy nothing but my TV. That's the only thing I bought. My apartment fully furnished. And it's just like, man, God is so good. And He started taking it away. I was empty, man. I was empty. But He left me with a car. And He told me, what's my excuse now? So ever since I walked through them church doors at Grace, my life has been different. I wasn't obedient to what God told me. But I reaped the consequence of not listening and not being silent and not sitting still. Every time I open my mouth, I put my foot in my mouth. It burned me. It set me back. It pushed people away from me. It's gossip. It's all this mess. Because Chris didn't listen to God and wasn't obedient. But this is a long walk. My walk ain't over. I'm obedient now. I listen now. I still fall down, but I get back up. I don't depend on God's mercy, but I know it's there. I want to get it right this time. I don't want to keep falling. I don't want to keep bumping my head. I don't want to keep failing these tests. It's time for me to become that creature that God has made me to be. And I'm going to do it. I'm becoming. And I just thank God for all He has done in my life, for wanting what's best for me. He wants what's best for everybody. If you just trust God and let Him lead you, and trust Him, don't question Him. Let Him lead you. You're going to go through some things, but I'm telling you, God got you. Life ain't about money and all this other stuff. It's about that spirit. It's about that soul. Getting it right with God. And God going to do the rest. He going to produce for you everything and anything that you need. I just ask for forgiveness for all the things that I made mistakes of doing, living, or having the mindset of the world. Anybody that I've hurt, I apologize. But so that's a little bit of my testimony. To God be the glory. And y'all have a good night.